Welcome back to Retro Life for You, the podcast where we dive into the movies that define the 80s and 90s. Today, we're heading into the underground world of high stakes poker with the 1998 cult classic Rounders, starring Matt Damon, Edward Norton, and John Malkovich as the unforgettable Teddy KGB. Rounders is a story of loyalty, obsession, and risking it all on the turn of a card. We'll break down the movie's troubled box office run, its second life during the poker boom, and behind the scenes stories that made it what it is today. From Damon and Norton's real life poker prep to Malkovich's eccentric performance, this film has become the definitive poker movie, even if it took years for the world to catch up. So grab your chips and shuffle the deck, and let's get into the world of Rounders. I'm your host, Chris Adams. Thank you very much. Yay! Yay! And then, well, that's Travis over there. So, all right, yeah, here, golf clap.
I'm so far away. I look far away, but I don't sound far away.
But yet you are far away.
I am far away.
I can't reach out and slap you or nothing.
Nope.
But
safe from the smacks.
Safety from yes, but I can still hear you loud and clear, which is good. This was Travis's idea, by the way.
It's a nice change with all the technical issues I've been having with my
yes,
audio.
Very nice change. Usually, this guy comes on, and all I see his lips moving, but I hear nothing coming out.
Yeah,
and he'll fight with it for 10 minutes, and finally it'll come up and work. And then
we think, knock on wood, that we finally got that figured out.
Yeah, he might have figured it out for good now. That's good, definitely good. How's your week going? What you been doing?
It's pretty good. I took me a PTO day last Thursday and took a nice long 4-day weekend. Did some fishing and hanging out with the family, and went to my boys. It was actually Pickens County's high school band sound off. It was 4 high schools that Liberty hosted, and so they did like their I guess a preview of what their show of the band competition later this year is going to be like
a battle of the bands or something.
Yeah. But yeah, that was real cool.
That's cool.
So, what'd you do this weekend?
Work.
Bunch
of work. Went to my mom's house.
We traded places this weekend.
I said, for usually it's you work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I had a full day, a full week of work. I had a good weekend for college football, though. That was good. The team I disliked the most lost. That's always good. And my team won, which is always great.
There you go.
So if I could just get that NFL team to start winning a little bit and not looking so stupid, that would be really good. Anyway, this is Travis's idea, Rounders. I had never seen Rounders until just this last week. And I knew what it was about somewhat. I mean, I remember it coming out, but it struck me as one of those movies that wasn't really in my wheelhouse, like I don't want to say a gangster or mob kind of feel, but I mean,
I would imagine if you watch the trailer for it, it would give you that kind of a feel.
I mean, it kind of did, and I wasn't really into that kind of movie at the time or anything, so I never watched it, but I watched it just this past Thursday or Friday. It's Sunday now. We're recording.
And what did you think?
It was an excellent movie. I'm thinking I should have watched it a long time ago.
That's the great thing about doing this about doing this podcast and making it retro too, though, is going back and seeing some of this stuff from back in the day that we were like, what?
I was thinking that very same thing when I watched it, because I'm thinking, I know you said that before, and the first thought come to mind was Travis is always saying, this is the fun part about the podcast. We go back and see things that we didn't watch because at the time it wasn't for us, but like it might be something that I liked, but you didn't watch.
Yeah.
And it's a rental. And then still didn't really like it too much, but kind of got into it. And then there was Sin City for me. I mean, I kind of got into it, and then I was like, I'd watch it again. But it's not exactly my favorite movie. Right? I never watched Roger Rabbit. So you got me to watch that, and I'm like, okay, I can watch that anytime now. That's cool.
Roger Rabbit's hilarious. Yeah.
I mean, that's the great part about this. And Rounders is just one more of those movies that made it fun. So for those of you who don't know what Rounders is about,
And Rounders is also one that, like, remember how you got those classics or whatever, you if it's on TV, you'll stop and watch it if you're not doing anything and you're just flicking and it's on. This is one of those. Like, if you've seen it 8-9 times, if it's on and you're not doing anything, you'll probably stop and watch it some more.
And I'll tell you something funny before I read this description off. I'll tell you something funny. I'm YouTube surfing one day, right? You know how it is with YouTube. You click on one video and then you get into a rabbit hole, and 2 hours later, you're like, man, I've been here for 2 hours. I have seen the last bit of the movie already on YouTube and didn't know that was what I was watching.
Oh, wow.
It was the card game at the end between Matt Damon's character, Mike, and Teddy KGB.
Heck yeah.
And I was like,
that's the best part of the movie. Like, the movie builds to that. That's one of the other great things about this flick is the movie builds to that moment too so well. And that moment, that the end of this movie is such a payoff. I feel like that's something that really sets this one apart too.
Yeah. And I'm like, when he gets to that point, I'm like, I've seen this part. I didn't realize this was the movie that I had watched the thing of on YouTube. So, but for those who don't know what it's about, Rounders follows a law student and gifted poker player Mike McDermott, played by Matt Damon, who loses his bankroll in a high-stakes game of poker against Russian mobster Teddy KGB, played by John Malkovich.
Bankroll.
He went all
college for this too.
Oh yeah, college payment. I mean, his college tuition, everything. His rent. He went all in on this one. After swearing off cards, he's pulled back into the underground poker world when his childhood friend Worm, played by Edward Norton, is released from prison and quickly racks up debts. Torn between his legal career, his girlfriend's wishes, and his love of the game, Mike must risk it all at the poker table to save his friend and prove himself. I'm just want to go ahead and say it. I hated Edward Norton in this movie.
Yes. They named him right. Last name was Worm.
Man, I was like, gosh, how can he keep taking up for this dude?
Being a piece of trash.
This is terrible. It's like he's only been out of prison for a week. He's already got his best friend Mike in debt for $7,000 because he vouched for him and everything. I was like, the character was just terrible. They really made you hate him, which is good writing.
For sure. For sure.
The Teddy KGB character was good by John Malkovich. When we talked about Matt Damon's character Mike going all in and losing all his money to him, he really thought he had him read. He thought he knew him, and he just completely bluffed him out, I guess, and showed him that he did have something better than what he thought he had, and took all his money from him. And he couldn't get up. He just couldn't get up and walk away. He just sat there for the longest, not believing. He just lost all his money, his tuition and his rent. He lost everything. And for some reason, the girl still stuck with him. Yeah, I guess at the point, right? So, and then he
had a lot of help from Kanish too. Kanish was like a mentor to him, Kanish tried to show him the better way,
Yeah. Gave him a job when he needed a job.
By John Turturro. We didn't mention that.
Well, we ain't get to it. We ain't get to
it in the main cast selection. Maybe because he wasn't such a big star back then. I don't know. I feel like Transformers kind of really set him off.
See, that's what I was going to say. My first introduction to John Turturro was Transformers.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't really watch the type of movies and stuff that he was in back in the day.
Right.
So I wouldn't have really known him. So Transformers was my first introduction to him.
Right. But so those of y'all that won't know John Turturro off of his name, in the Transformers movie, he was the crazy Black Ops guy.
Section 7, wasn't it?
Section 7. There you go. He was the crazy Section 7 guy.
What was his name? And so what was his name in the movie?
I cannot remember it. Not in that one anyway. I
can't either. But he's the one that they made strip down to his underwear or something and handcuffed him to the pole.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
But he's been in a bunch of stuff. He was in The Flamingo Kid. He was Ted. He was actually in uncredited in Raging Bull was his first time on television. And I probably this movie was probably the first one I remember him from. And then when I saw other movies like I saw The Big Lebowski and didn't know who he was. But then when I see him and when I saw Rounders, that's when I see him in other stuff, and then I say, "Oh, there's Kanish."
And see, that's what I'm gonna think from now on when I see it.
Yeah.
Now that I've watched
And he
this
was
movie.
Pete. And you know what? Though we sure did forget about old Pete. They liquored him up and turned him into a horny toad. He was Pete from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Right. I just seen that. I just pulled him up to see what all he was in, and I see Oh Brother, Where Art Thou on there.
Old Pete.
He was Agent
Turned him
Simmons.
into a horny toad.
Agent Simmons on Transformers.
Agent Simmons. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, he was the bad guy in one of my favorite Johnny Depp movies that not a lot of people have seen. He was John Shooter in The Secret Window. If you haven't seen The Secret Window, I highly recommend that movie.
Yeah, I've never.
Yeah, Johnny Depp's kind of a tortured soul author. He plays an author in it.
Yeah.
Super, super good movie.
Let's see what else. Is it Mr. Deeds?
Yeah.
As Emilio Lopez. I remember Mr. Deeds. I watched it, but I don't remember a lot of the characters from it or anything.
And he was the one that he told him to stab him in the foot. He's like,
yeah.
He told him to hit him in the foot, and then he stabbed it. He's like, "Oh, why would you do that?" And he goes, "I'm just kidding, buddy. I didn't feel a thing."
Right, his foot's dead to him or something.
Yeah.
Gosh, it was Collateral Damage. He was in that. He was the voice.
He's been in a lot of He's
the voice on Monkey Bone.
Yep. He's done a lot of stuff. I don't know why he's not more of a standout. I guess he is to those of us that know him.
I'm trying to see what the earliest thing I've seen that he's in that I didn't know he was in, and I'm not
probably Raging Bull. I don't remember him from Raging Bull.
It could be. I never seen Do the Right Thing. I see that in '89. I never really saw that. Oh, you know what? He was in The Color of Money. I didn't know that. I've seen that. I've seen Gung Ho. Didn't know he was in that.
Yeah, he's a standout. I think in anything he's in, he's memorable.
Yeah. Well, great career for him. We can definitely say that. So a few pre-production notes about the movie. The movie was written by Brian Koppelman and David Levian, I think it says, inspired by real experiences in underground poker clubs.
Mm-hmm.
It's directed by John Dahl, who did The Last Seduction and Red Rock West. The film was shot largely in New York City, with real underground poker clubs serving as inspiration for set design, and released just before the explosion of televised Texas Hold'em poker tournaments in the early 2000s. The timing was slightly too early for the mainstream success, though.
Yes, and that's what I told Tasha. I said, I swear to God, because I watched this movie not long. I didn't see it in the theaters, but I definitely saw it as soon as it hit VHS. Like, this was definitely a blockbuster rental. I remember watching it. I remember the first time I saw it, because I fell in love with it. And that's what I was telling Tasha. I was like, I really truly feel like I know the World Series of Poker was televised. It was kind of like bowling and darts. You know what I'm saying?
No one really cared. It's like pool. It's like watching pool on TV.
Yeah, billiards. Yeah.
My father will sit there and watch.
I really truly feel like this movie was kind of responsible for them getting poker brought to television the way it did,
or making it at least
turns out it was vice versa.
Yeah, but it doesn't help. I mean, it doesn't hurt at all as far as making it more popular too. Though when people see the movie, they go, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go back and watch this now." Well,
for sure, because Johnny Chan was actually Johnny Chan. I think is actually he's probably a little heavier influence on what brought the popularity of televised poker to the world, or the World Series to mainstream. Because I remember, I knew who Johnny Chan was at the time.
Now, is that the name you think of the most when you think of World Series of Poker?
Absolutely.
Moneymaker is the one I think of.
Yep, Moneymaker. I remember the dude that sat there. And Steve, that's another thing too. There was who was it? It might have been Moneymaker. It was somebody that they were always talking about how he wore sunglasses all the time.
Well, there was Phil Hellmuth for one. That was another one. And then
I think
Chris
that's probably the one.
Yeah, those are the two most well known, I think, or remembered these days by people. Phil Hellmuth and Chris Moneymaker. When it started,
I knew who Johnny Chan was because that's the first name that I knew of in poker, like in real life. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And then of course, like I said, um, the released just before the explosion of televised Texas Hold'em. When the television the televised stuff came out, this movie really took a turn and became more popular because
Hmm.
people were watching this on TV a little bit, and they saw this movie. They picked up on it on television, DVD, and cable releases for it also helped a lot. It's kind of like a lot of these other movies you talk about with the VHS rentals when it went to VHS. Didn't do so well to theater, but hit VHS and took
Hmm.
off. This didn't do bad at the theaters though. Actually, when it comes to box office performances, it budgeted at 12 million and it grossed worldwide 22 to 24 million.
Yeah, so I mean,
And
they almost doubled the money. I would
I
say
mean,
that's successful.
yeah, and I mean most of that was U.S. gross at 22.9. So kind of a modest, it says, at the box office, but found new life on DVD and cable reruns during the
Hmm.
poker craze, especially from '03 to '06. Now, I don't know if you've ever sat down with a friend, your friends or anything, and maybe the guys get together once a week or something and play a poker game.
No,
I know my stepdad used to do it with some of his workers,
we
his
played the hell out of
coworkers.
some. We played the hell out of some spades growing up, though. And you get. I've
I,
seen people get cut at a spades game.
spades, hearts,
I'm telling you.
dominoes.
Yup.
Uh, I've always wanted to do, the thing with the friends every week, with the poker tournament, but I don't know enough people that would really want to get together and play cards like that. They either don't like poker or they're not very good at it. I know enough to understand what hand beats what and everything, but my thing would be learning people's tells and their actions and everything.
And that's a pretty cool part of this flick too. Is it talks about that kind of stuff a little more in depth than the
Yeah.
poker games before did. You know.
One of my favorite scenes in the movie, he's got this job he's doing for Knish. He drives a truck, right?
Hmm.
And he's delivering stuff. And he
The
goes to this
judges
place,
game.
the judge's game. He goes
Yeah.
there and he tells the one judge, he's looking and they're saying, I forget what they say to him, but he tells him, he says, all right, he's gonna help this one judge. All right. He goes, he's in. He puts in, he bets this. He takes his chips and put them out
He
there.
looks at it like he's crazy. He's like,
Are
don't worry
you
about it.
sure about this? He's, I got this. Don't worry about it. And then
You're
when he
fine.
goes and explains to them all why it happened, and he says, well, I could tell he didn't have the cards he wanted because, the look on his face or something, or they were already gone. Or I knew he didn't have them because they were already gone. This guy over here gave the facial expression that his hand
Yeah.
was crap or something. So I knew he didn't have nothing. And it came down to you and this person here with this. And I knew he didn't have that because of such and such. He's like, he's telling them how he read their each one of their hands without seeing their cards
Hmm.
based on their actions and stuff. And that's the biggest thing about poker. If you got a good poker face yourself, you're not giving anything away and you know how to read the people at the table, then
Hmm.
you're going to go far with it.
Yeah.
It's not just having the good hand. I mean, you can sit there and have like I swear like an ace queen, you know, and you just have an
Hmm.
ace high on the table and nobody else has anything, or you may have I'm sorry, not have anything. You may have somebody across from you has a pair at least, or even two pair, but they've got from you where there's like a pair on the table of nines or something, right? And they're thinking, what if he's got the nine? He has three of a kind. They don't know what you got, and
Right.
you've bluffed your way through with just an ace queen.
Yeah.
You take the
Or
whole
and on the flip side of that, you got a monster hand, and you got to suck them in to make them believe that you're not holding anything, because that's, I mean, the tails are a big thing. I think that's one of the things that made it popular when it did get televised as well, because they talked about that kind of thing. That's why the people were wearing sunglasses and funny hats, and they'd
right.
sit at the table and try their best not to make any kind of twitch or the slightest facial expression when they drew a card, whether it was good or bad, and
Yeah.
or they would sail tails. That's what the suckering them in is too. Is you got to sell it. So like making a tail like if I act this way, they're gonna think that.
I mean, you may lose a few hands on purpose and give a little fake tail away
Yeah,
just for the sake of winning a monster pot. 4 or 5 hands later. But
yeah, yeah. The
when
psychology that goes into it really is cool.
yeah, I tell you one thing I
There's
do
a
hate though.
what's that?
One thing I do hate, the online poker thing that they try to do for people,
Oh
right?
yeah.
They get all kinds of apps you can do online poker where real people sit at the the online virtual table you're at, and the cards get
Yeah, you
dealt.
might as well be playing a digital poker machine at that point.
But I mean, it's stupid. Let's say you got 5 real people, okay? It's fake money because most states don't allow the gambling anyway.
Right.
So it's fake. It's just fake money in there. You're not buying anything into it. You get there, and it doesn't matter what kind of hand you have. Some idiot at the table is raising you all their chips.
Yeah.
Where's the fun in that? I mean, it's not. There's no fun. You're not. I mean, because no one's gonna just go all in and take a chance on winning or losing with.
And that's a lot of times that's how it'll go with buddy poker games too. Like, you got a $20 pot limit and stuff like that. So I mean, it's like some people get in there and you playing penny poker and stuff like that, and I splashed a pot with a max bet, and it's like,
I
for
mean,
what?
you gotta have rules going in, right? If it's
Mhm.
just a buddy poker game, you and all your friends over there, you gotta say, look, we're just good. This is small change games. We got nickels,
But we
dimes,
want to play
quarters.
serious, you know what I mean?
Right,
Like you're
nickels,
trying
dimes,
to win this
quarters.
$10.
Right. We're gonna what nickels, dimes, quarters. We're gonna play serious. We're gonna be real about this, and you got a max bet of like X amount of money. You can't just go all in every hand because you want to try and bluff somebody into whatever, so you can take the 50 cents off the table and put it in your stash. All right, but you
Yeah.
gotta have some be real about it and have fun. Uh, I would, and then one of these days, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get enough friends over. We're gonna do this one of these days. We're just gonna have a blast on the weekend, just playing poker. Um, you said this is a video rental for you,
Hmm.
obviously. Um, what drew you to the movie? What did you see the preview for? You said that's something I want to
Oh,
see,
for
or
sure.
okay,
Yeah, for sure. I probably saw the trailer on cable or something like that, or either that or it's possible to. Now, I don't remember. I don't recall if I saw it and if I saw a trailer and wanted to see it, or if I picked up the box and read the back of the box. I was like, oh, this is going to be a good movie. But at the time, being what, 1996, 98, 1998. So around this time, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are, it has been their explosion. You know
yeah.
what I mean? So they're huge at that moment. And then Edward Norton wasn't a small matter at the moment, and I already by that time knew who John Malkovich was too. So when I saw the cast, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be great." And
Uh,
then Famke Janssen, like I was been in love with Famke. I don't even remember the first movie I saw her in, but I've been in love with her ever since I laid eyes on her. So her being in it was a plus too. And then, like I said, I was into, so we were kind of opposite on that too. I was super into the mobster movies, the Martin Scorsese type stuff, and
yeah.
so it did have, when you did look at it, the case gave you that feel, like the artwork or whatever, the movie poster or whatever, it gave you that feel. Reading about it kind of give you that feel, high stakes poker, and so it did feel a little bit like a mobster movie back then. So that would
So
have piqued my interest as well.
it's one of the things I was going to say about what drew you to it. You said you probably saw the preview and all. There were some movies that I actually watched because I was going through the shelves in the movie store, the movie rental place, and I'm just looking at the boxes, going, "That looks pretty good." I'm to flip it over and read what the story's about and everything, and I'm like,
Yeah,
maybe not, And
for
Ramblings
sure.
would have been one of those things for me. I would have saw the cover for it. I would have read about it and go, "Well, I'm not really big into poker or nothing. This is not going to be for me." And I would have put it back down anyway. I wouldn't have got it, but
Yeah. Well, I think it's something else too, though. Something that I've noticed is just about every movie that has that kind of cover art where it's like the stars just kind of either standing there or looking at you know what I mean? Like their pictures of their faces or whatever, just kind of looking out at you like rounders, or like, do you remember the cover art to something like The Talented Mr. Ripley, or The Score with uh Norton and oh, come on. We just said Raging Bull.
Turturro?
Daggum. Yeah, De Niro.
No,
It seems like
Turturro.
any, huh? Oh,
John Turturro?
Turturro. Oh no, I was trying to think of De Niro. It was
Oh,
Robert De Niro and Edward Norton. It's called The Score.
oh, okay.
But anyway, it's like with those movies that just kind of have that monochromatic or washed out orange look. You know what I mean? And just them kind of staring at the screen or out at you, like they all kind of seem to be pretty doggone good movies.
Yeah. Let's get to the rest of the cast for a little bit. While
Yeah.
I kind of skipped over it for a little bit. We kind of got to talking about the other things and was interesting there. But of course, Matt Damon as Mike
Mhm.
McDermott. Some of his other notable films, of course, Good Will Hunting. You mentioned him and Matt Damon. Saving Private Ryan, which I never really think of Saving Private Ryan as a Matt Damon movie. I always think of it just as like a Tom Hanks movie. That's what it as
Yeah.
it is. Even though I mean, Private Ryan is Matt Damon, right?
Right.
You would think people would associate him more with it. I guess I just don't in
I
my
think of
mind.
I think of it as that dude that got shot in the ear, the sergeant. What was his name? He's always playing a loud sergeant. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, that was with the the group with Tom Hanks.
Yeah, yeah.
Was it Tom Sizemore?
I don't remember his name. I can never remember that guy's name.
I'm not sure which one it is either, off the top of my head. Apparently, then he was in Talented Mr. Ripley and the Bourne Identity movies.
The Born.
One of
He
my
was in
favorite things
Born.
of Matt Damon. Well, the Bourne movies were good, especially the early ones. But when I think of Matt Damon, the first thing that stands out to me is him and Jimmy Kimmel. I think it is. Is that who it is? The late night show host that they go back and forth with each other, pranking or whatever.
Oh yeah. It might was it Jimmy? Yeah, I think it was. I think you're right.
I think it's Jimmy Kimmel.
Hmm.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is. And there's always a joke about him not coming on. He's not allowed to come on the show anymore or something like that.
Yeah.
And they'll do things back and forth with each other. That always makes me think
Before
of
he started doing his what was he was doing an impression of Matthew McConaughey. He's like, I think right now would be a good time for me to take off my shirt.
that.
Like that.
All right, all right, all right.
Right.
Edward Norton as Lester Worm Murphy. Worm, and then
Mhm.
Worm is exactly what he was, like we said earlier. The way they wrote that character
It's
and the
almost
way he played it, I couldn't stand him.
dude, it almost made me think that I hated Edward Norton. Like it's like
Listen, when they got into the cops poker game,
yeah.
and McDermott is doing well, he's making a lot of money, he's doing well with it, and he tells the guy, just stay out. Just wait for me to come back 8 hours to pick me up, but stay out of it. What does he do? He works his way in so he could go ahead and push for them as a little tandem together. Although the
Mhm.
people don't know they know each other, then but they end up figuring it out, right? He messes up.
Yeah.
They figured out if he had just left well enough alone, they would have had the money by the end of the night that they needed, right? Because the whole
Yeah.
thing is they're having to get what is it, 15,000 or
Yeah,
what was it,
15 grand. Yeah.
15 grand? He's getting 15 grand.
It was 20 total, but Worm kept lying to him.
Yeah, so he had to make all this money to make sure that he doesn't get killed, and he doesn't realize. And then he had vouched for him himself with the guy. They both knew the guy from back in the day. But the
Hmm.
guy's like running things now thanks to Teddy KGB. And so he has to get this money for him, or else he's just as guilty as the other one.
Yeah.
So
He'll start
he's
breaking
put his
legs.
name on the line. He's gonna get some bones broken. He might get killed. You never know, right? So
Hmm.
so you just really hate Edward Norton at this point because he can't leave well enough alone. And it's
Yeah.
like he's all and he thinks just say, "Oh, I'm sorry," that makes fun. That makes everything well. No,
Yeah, and this movie's right around the time too. So like I'm not gonna say I saw this as soon as it dropped because like I said, some of the guys were already well known. So I probably saw this in 99 or 2000
yeah,
because Edward was already big too because of American History X and Fight Club.
right.
So, yeah. But like I said, yeah, watching that character was so
Well, now
wormy.
American History. Now, Primal Fear in '96 he was in. American
Yeah.
History X came out in '98, the same year that Rounders came out.
Yeah, and he was also played the lawyer for Larry Flint and The People versus Larry Flint.
Yep. Now, Fight Club was in '99, so that was after the
Right.
fact.
So that's why I say, and I probably saw it in 99 to 2000 because
Yeah.
Edward was known for Fight Club for
Right,
sure.
he
When
was
I
pretty
saw it.
big at the time with that. Then next thing you know, here's another movie he was in. I gotta check that one out, right? Um,
Mhm.
you know my favorite Edward Norton movie is though
What's that?
is definitely The Italian Job.
The Italian Job's great.
Yes,
That one's great.
and he plays a bad guy in that one too. He cheats the rest of the people out of their stuff, right? Turns on them. Um, does his little thing with the gold, the gold bullion they'd gotten on the heist. That was really a
It's
great
hard to
movie. I
beat,
really
dude.
liked it.
When I take the Mini Coopers and mod them up,
Yeah,
like the Italian Job's hard to beat.
yeah, and that was actually, now, was the original movie called The Italian Job as well?
Yeah, yeah, the one from back in the
Okay.
'70s that they remade. Yep,
Yes,
it was a Steve McQueen movie, I think.
I think so. I just couldn't remember if it was the same name or if it was something different.
It was,
Um,
yep,
John Malkovich is Teddy KGB.
that's my
My favorite thing John Malkovich is Con Air. Cyrus the Virus.
Cyrus the Virus.
Yeah, is
My favorite John Malkovich is probably what's it called? Red. I think it's just called Red.
Red. Well, Red was good. Being John Malkovich in The Line of Fire, Dangerous Liaisons. Like I
Mhm.
said, Con Air. He's
He's
been in quite
he's
a few.
awesome in everything. Like if John Malkovich is in it, I'll watch it. He was also he played Ripley in Ripley's Game, the sequel to The
Yeah.
Talented Mr. Ripley.
Yep.
Which is pretty wild when you think about it, because now he's Teddy KGB with Matt Damon. Well, Matt Damon was the talented Mr. Ripley, and then he came back as old Ripley later on.
There was also, there was talks for a sequel to this movie. The fans wanted a sequel to it for the longest time. They wanted to see the story finished out for
Yeah,
Mike McDermott. They wanted to see him go to the World Series of Poker and play, because
right.
that's where it leaves you with the, spoiler alert, I guess, if you haven't watched it.
Maybe one of my favorites. Maybe one of my favorite John Malkovich movies was Athos. He played one of the Three Musketeers, Four Musketeers technically.
Oh, he was, wasn't
He
he?
was Athos in The Man from the Iron Mask, which is, we thought in the '90s that was a girl movie, that was a date movie or a chick flick or however you want to say it. But The Man in the Iron Mask is a good movie, dude.
Yeah. Been a long time since I've seen that, but I have seen that. I always liked
Teddy KGB is hard to beat too. That's the thing about John Malkovich, though. If you bring him on, you're getting something good, because he's always that eccentric, crazy person. You know what I mean? When he's in Red, playing the old like dude who's just paranoid about everything, I loved it. The way he just always he just blows stuff up like it's nothing, like just so nonchalant. You know what I mean? Just like blowing up a whole building.
The thing with Con Air too, his character on there is like, I think he's reading off the note that he found on Nick Cage's character, that was
Yeah,
from his daughter.
yeah,
My daddy is this, my daddy is that, and blah
right.
blah blah. And then when he steps up, he stops and puts a gun up. He goes, "Don't move, or the rabbit gets it." The bunny rabbit gets it.
Moving Bunny Rabbit gets it.
Like he's just the
Yeah,
little
he's
stuffed
nuts,
rabbit.
man. And Teddy KGB is so good too. Like I think that's another cool thing about this movie too, is how they saved John Malkovich. Like you get little pieces of him, and then but you're like, okay, Teddy KGB, all right, cool. But then the last scene of the movie, when you really get him on screen and he gets to talking and he's having fun. He's like, it's silly. I'm paying with your money anyway. He's like, what? He's like, oh, from what I stick it to you again. It's like, he's like, I pay you 5,000, but I'm paying you with your money. You owe me 20.
Well, what about a little bit further after that, where he realizes he just lost this hand, and he realizes how he lost it, because he's the Oreos.
Yeah.
And he gets mad and throws them against the wall.
That was another cool thing too. Like the Matt Damon's character talked about it, how Teddy KGB doesn't have a tail. He doesn't. He's like, I've studied him. He has no tails. There are no tails. Right. And then he finally realized what his tail was, and he slung him up against the wall. But then he was honorable too, though. You really thought some bad stuff was about to go down.
That's what I was about to bring up.
Honorable. He said, pay that man his money. He wouldn't even look at him. He just went, pay that man his money.
He beat me fair and square.
Yeah, he beat me fair and square. Pay that man his money.
That was pretty cool. Gretchen, is that Gretchen Mol? MOL?
I'm not, yeah. Is she now? Okay. Is
I
Bull's
don't
name
know
spelled the same way?
Huh?
Is Bull's name spelled the same way?
I don't know.
Is she Richard Moll's daughter?
No. This is MOL. He's MOLL.
Okay, that's what I was saying. Is it spelled the same way? Yeah.
Yeah, no. This is just Gretchen MOL as Joe,
Okay.
known for the notorious Betty Page in '05 and Boardwalk Empire on TV. I don't know her from any other movie other than
The
this. I don't
notorious
recognize her.
Betty Page. I recognize her from a movie that I don't love. The 310 to Yuma movie.
Was she in that?
But that was way after this one, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I have not seen her in anything before.
Yeah, and she was in the 13th Floor, which is a pretty awesome horror movie because you know how buildings don't have a 13th floor.
Right. Bad luck and everything.
So they went to the 13th floor. That's actually a really cool movie.
Is that a Johnny Depp movie?
I don't think so.
I'm trying to think of who was in that. I remember it.
That's called something different. It's the 13th, not the 13th Warrior. That's Banderas.
No, I remember the 13th Floor. I do remember that. I just can't.
D'Onofrio's in it.
Is he?
Yeah. So Vincent D'Onofrio. But no, Gretchen's the main. She's like the main character. One of them. It's her and this dude named Craig Burko.
Right.
Vincent D'Onofrio was in it, and but yeah, she was in that, and she did I guess a fairly popular TV show, The Girls Club. She was in a few episodes of that. 310 to Yuma. Yeah, she played Alice in 310 to Yuma, and she's been in quite a few TV series and movies. Oh my God, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that was her. One of my favorite TV shows, Boardwalk Empire. She was Jillian Dormady.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned a moment ago, Boardwalk Empire.
Oh yeah, I didn't even realize that.
Well, one of your, I remember you said before, Famke Janssen was one of your favorites. She's Petra.
Yeah, I would let her spend the night.
And you let her spend the night.
When she offered, I'd have been like, yeah, okay, that'll probably make me feel better. But he wasn't broke up with her yet, though, you know.
Right. Now, first thing you've seen her in, you said you've seen her in something before this. You just wasn't sure what it was.
Oh, I'm not sure. Probably, you know what? Probably House on Haunted Hill. That's probably where I fell in love with her.
You didn't see Goldeneye?
Yeah, I saw Goldeneye, but I don't recall her from there.
That she was in Goldeneye. She was a Xenia Onatopp.
Xenia Onatopp.
I think she was the Bond girl in the movie or something, wasn't she?
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe.
House on Haunted Hill, definitely. Deep Rising is the first thing I seen her in.
Okay, yeah, I would have seen that. But that's the thing too with the blockbuster rentals. This is probably all around the same time.
Well, Deep Rising came out in '98. Listen, she was busy in '98. Okay,
yeah.
Check this out. Now, seriously, check this out. Monument Avenue. Then there was The Gingerbread Man, Deep Rising, Rounders, Celebrity, The Adventures of Sebastian Cole, and The Faculty.
Miss Burke.
Yes.
That's what I saw her in first.
Yeah.
That's what I saw her in for. Definitely. It
all
was
that.
And then House on Haunted Hill, and probably then Rounders.
I hope she made a lot of money in that year. That's a lot of work put in.
That's a lot of work, dude. That's a lot of work. And then, of course, she's Jean Grey.
Right. Now, that's what we know her from the most, X-Men.
For sure.
I do believe. So,
House on Haunted Hill is one of my favorites, too. I'm going to have to get you to watch that one day.
I've seen that.
Oh, have you?
I have.
I
used to get her confused. With the woman from The Matrix.
Oh, Trinity. Moss. Carrie-Anne Moss.
I used to get them two mixed up all the time.
Heck yeah.
So this one, Famke Janssen, she's in the Taken series.
Mm-hmm.
She was on Nip Tuck on television for a little bit, 11 episodes. She was in the Wolverine as a, I guess I don't remember if that was a flashback or what, as Jean Grey.
Probably. She was also in the Hansel and Gretel with Hawkeye.
Right. So I mean, she's had a lot of stuff going on that's good for her and everything. But I want to say, like I said, X-Men's the biggest thing for me. And then actually after that,
Yeah.
it was Deep Rising.
Heck yeah.
I'd even forgotten she was in the faculty. I'd forgotten that. And the
Yeah.
faculty's loaded with people too. I mean,
Oh my God. Yeah. It even had Ursher in it.
yeah, we're going to pick that movie soon. And matter of fact, when this is over, when we're done recording this, I got some future episodes to speak to you about. I want to get your
Hey, I'm gonna tell
your
you what,
thoughts on it.
96 through 2000, those 4 little years right there there was some serious stuff went down in that little half a decade, I think.
Yeah. Martin Landau. I for whatever reason, I always knew that name. I've heard that name so many times.
Hmm.
Never seen anything he was in. I don't think that at least not that I really knew of.
Yeah.
This was a first for me, and I never watched Ed Wood. He was in one of the things, one of the older movies he was known for was North by Northwest. That was in 1959.
Yeah.
But Ed Wood in '94 was an Oscar win for him.
Ed Wood was good. Didn't that was a Johnny Depp movie, I do believe.
I've never ever seen it.
Mhm. I don't know about before that. Oh no, that's the old Ed Wood that actually had Bela Lugosi in it.
What
What? Wait a
94?
minute. No, 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 no. No,
Oh,
no, no. Yes.
94.
Yeah, it was. Was that not?
Now
That
was
was a
Martin
Johnny Depp.
Landau's
It was a Johnny Depp movie. It was Martin Landau played Bela Lugosi.
was Martin Landau's character a professor? I thought he was a like a judge for some reason.
I thought it was a judge too.
He was in the judge's game, right?
Yeah. Oh, I bet you what. I bet you he was a judge, but a professor at his law school.
Now, what was John Turturro's name in this movie?
The Kanish.
You
Or
want
I
to
don't
put
remember his whole name, but I remember him. I remember the Kanish.
you know what professor's name is? The Martin Landau's name?
What's that?
Professor Kanish.
Nuh-uh.
That's what it says. Okay, let me go back and just
That's
I'm gonna double check
crazy.
this.
I didn't notice that.
I have to double check this. Joey Kanish is John Turturro, right?
Yeah.
So let's find him in the list here. Landau. Where is he at? There's Famke Janssen. There's
I'm showing him as Abe Petrovsky.
That's what he is. That's what. So when I copied this off, they got his name mixed up with Kanish's name because I knew that can't be right. I knew that couldn't be right.
Okay.
That's why I was trying to find his name. I said I know that's not correct.
You.
And I'm remembering now watching at the end of the movie where he gets the girl. He's like, "Can I trust you to give this to Professor Petrovsky or well to Petrovsky for me?" He didn't say professor, but to
Yeah.
Petrovsky, and she's like, "Yeah, you know." So why did it say they put Professor Kanish? We were just talking. You didn't get to be on the show with us, unfortunately, when we did Toy Soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
And I had made a mention to something to Keith Coogan about something in the movie. And he's like, "No, actually, that's incorrect." Blah blah. And he's going to tell me the story. And I'm like, you know what? I hate IMDb. I'm not going back there no more. They're supposed to be the place that knows everything.
Well, that's what we've had too, though. Remember, we've had things that have been here and there. We've had, and IMDb is the most consistent as far as accuracy is concerned. But we were talking to someone else too that it was had a little imperfection on IMDb. That
Cynthia
may
Rothrock, I believe.
Cynthia, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. Talk about her first movie in America here.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yep.
Yeah, we thought it was China O'Brien, I think, and it was actually No Retreat, No Surrender too.
Yes.
So yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, can't trust anything anymore.
I know. I'll tell you something funny, little movie trivia about it too, talking about how much I love John Malkovich. Matt Damon said in an interview that getting John Malkovich was like a really big deal for him. So much so that on the first take that Malkovich did like a real cartoonish and over the top performance at the end. And the whole crew like applauded and was praising him for how brilliant it was. And said Matt Damon looked at him and he was real confused. And Malkovich looked at him. He said, John Malkovich saw him looking at him real confused, and he just leaned over and goes, I'm a terrible actor. Damon said Malkovich was trying to show him that if you get to a point where no one gives you a straight answer, it's dangerous. He said, I'm a terrible actor.
That's crazy. I'm a terrible actor. I don't know how I got this far.
Yeah, you get to a point where nobody gives you an honest answer, it's dangerous. It's like,
The John Malkovich accent on Teddy KGB, they say, has been parodied countless times.
for sure.
Although Damon once said he found it weirdly perfect for the character.
It really was, truly. I mean, it's a horrible. It was a horrible Russian accent, but it was phenomenal for his character.
Some interesting trivia about this movie also about Matt Damon and Edward Norton. They played in real underground poker games for preparation for the movie, and often losing thousands of dollars in the process. This is Damon famously lost $25,000 in a single sitting.
Right. So that must have been where they must have told that story, and that's where he lost his big pot. That must have been how they settled on the 25 grand in the movie.
Could be. As far as the movie goes,
the writers David Levian and Brian Koppelman have cameos in the Atlantic poker scene. They're two of the players used to illustrate the giveaway tales, like where they all sit down and they're taking people's money.
I think one of them was a smoker.
Yeah.
I think I'd read that earlier. But yeah, they had good cameos in it. As far as the movie itself goes, character wise, who is the one that you think character wise kind of made the movie for you?
Oh man, really, you first go at it like my initial, so my reaction to that would totally be Teddy KGB. But my response to that would have to be Matt Damon. But at the same time, he wouldn't. The story, you need everybody in this story. Everybody's integral to this story. He wouldn't have been in the situation he was in if it hadn't have been for Worm. But you hate Worm's guts. But then then you got the Knish over here trying to keep him on the straight and narrow and teach him the right thing to do. And then you got Worm. He finally comes off and says what Worm says. You just don't have the stones to make the big play. Basically, you ain't got the guts or the testicular fortitude, Matt McFoley used to say, to make the big play. But then Knish is like, look, I'm feeding kids. I'm paying bills. I'm doing all of this off of this, what people call gambling, but this art form that we call poker. And then his girlfriend leaving him, finally making him throw his hands up in there and say, you know what, the hell with it. I'm playing poker. You need every single person in this movie. Even Petra, she comes to him being all cool the night that I said I would have let her spend the night, telling him that he was in the hole because they had the juice running. So the juice is your interest, like loan shark interest. So to me, I don't think you could pick one. I think that's a loaded question, because I think in this particular movie, every single character in it has a very defining and very integral role in the story.
So a follow-up question I was going to throw out there, but you kind of neutralized the follow-up question, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to do it anyway because that's just who I am. Which supporting role stood out the most? So you got Martin Landau's character, you got Famke Janssen's character, Johnny Chan's cameo, if you want to throw that in there.
If we were to say that Worm, if we're going to say that Worm and Mike, what was his name in the movie? His character,
Matt Damon. Was Mike McDermott.
Mike. So if you're gonna say that Mike and Worm and Teddy were the main characters, I'm gonna have to say Knish.
I think Knish is too. I think he's the most important supporting role really in it, because he's the one that's just trying to be the one to guide Mike around, and he's trying to make him see you don't have to go for the big bucks. You don't have to be the big star at the table like at World Series of Poker. And Worm's always making fun of him and making light of him and everything. But he's like, you know what? I make a living, I make money, you know, I pay my rent, I feed my kids,
And he
I
does
take
more
care of
than
them.
that too. He's helping other people. He had the money to he had the money to give it to Mike to get him out of the situation.
Mhm.
But he told him flat out, no, I'm not going to do it. You got to learn. He basically told him it's like a big brother or an uncle or a dad saying you got to learn this one. It's
Right,
like, nah, I'm not going to give you the money because if I give you the money, you don't learn anything. Basically, is what he told him.
right.
So he's not just making a living; he's doing well. He had the truck to let Matt Damon drive the deliveries. So that's another point too, that they're making it look like he's a small timer, or well, they're talking about him like he's a small timer or something because he don't go that way. He don't do the big draws or whatever. But
Right.
they're not thinking about the fact too that he's still a major player. He's basically, not connected to the mob or nothing, but he's a shot caller in their world.
Mhm.
So I mean, he's doing very well.
Mike's girlfriend Joe pushes him to give up gambling. Was she
Mhm.
right, or did she fail to understand who he really was?
Um, I think she being okay. So this is it's kind of like an addict. You can look at it like an addiction thing, and being a recovering addict, I feel like she was right, but at the same time, she was a little overboard with it. I'm not going to say leaving him was the wrong decision for her to make because he was starting to ignore his stuff at school. He was just like, I mean, the way the movie's left is like, yeah, this dude's not going to be a liar. You know what
Right.
I mean?
I mean, she'd gone through him with it once already.
Right.
She stayed with him through all the bad stuff. He lost everything. She stayed with him.
Mhm.
She helped build him back up or whatever. He went legit for a good while, for a pretty long time there, and
Yeah.
and then he just suddenly falls off.
Yeah. Worm
Back
hits the
as
scene.
soon as Worm gets out, he just completely back in his old habits again. So
Yeah.
there's nothing there
And
for
she's like,
her.
she was a little overboard. I feel like as far as you weren't near a poker game, but at the same time, she was trying to be understanding. So like, tell me you went to a strip club, something like, just tell me something like. So she's like, she would have been cool with you being at the strip club, you know what I mean? But
And
as
it
long
was
as
a
you wasn't
judge's
playing
game she was
poker,
talking about. It was the judge's game he made a delivery to.
yeah,
So that's why she says she could kind of tell he'd been in a situation. He told her what he did, but
mm-hmm.
it's like I didn't even sit down. I didn't play. I didn't play a hand. I didn't sit down or anything. I was just there and I was explaining to them. He said I helped Petrovsky through a hand or something. I explained to them how I was able to read the table and everything, but I
Right,
didn't play. And then she's not believing him because he had such a problem before. It seemed like,
yeah.
um,
And that's like at one point he told her, he said, "This is still gambling to you. You still see this as gambling when it's not."
yeah,
Is what he's saying. You're not, and even the other poker movies that we've seen, immediately Maverick comes to mind. As
hmm
funny as that movie was, they talked about that in there too. That was
right,
actually a big thing between him and Jodie Foster, was her tails, twirling her hair or whatever.
right.
So, he was like, you still see this as gambling. You don't understand that this is not gambling. This is like, this is work. And you're not playing odds. You're not taking chance. You're playing, against the other person, and your
I told
skills
you
of being able to read them.
I told you earlier, I mentioned somebody that I used to work with that I know that's been in with some of the poker stuff and everything.
Yeah.
I don't want to put her name out there or nothing like that, but I mean, she does really well with it. And I was just telling a friend of mine about where she placed in the last tournament that I seen her play in, and someone in that position probably has the ability to get into a tournament every weekend
Sure.
and play. If you're good at it and you enjoy it, to me, it's not a job. It's fun, and you're there. It's not like you're putting work in. You're enjoying what you're doing,
Mhm.
and you got a chance to win big money. Now finishing, I think, fourth place like this person did. I think the payout was like 3,000 or 3,500, which
Mhm.
might not sound like a large amount of money, but when's the last time that most people made $3,000 to $3,500 in a week?
Yeah.
I mean, some people with really good jobs, yes.
Right.
If you're somebody who is a contractor, maybe and it takes you a week to do a job and you get paid, 3 to 5 grand for it, great.
Yeah. It's
But
not common.
But your average person, it's not a common thing. If you're great at cards and you can play poker and you can win, and you can place in the top 5, weekly, that's making a living right there for you.
Yeah, like as a machinist, I make, honest to God, working for the company that I work for. Like I honestly, one of my biggest things, and I tell people around, you're not going to go make this money other places, like not many other places. So I mean, I'm very literally in the top pay range of my career, or my skilled trade, which would be machining or CNC machining, and I don't even come close to that. Like I'm shy, I'm a fair bit shy.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that's working. Like I'd have to work 80, 90 hours to see that kind of money.
If you were capable of doing it, I mean, would you not just want to just do it? I mean, definitely just plunge right into it.
Absolutely.
I mean, if it's not like if it's not just a hustle and you know what you're doing, you're going to win. I mean,
I look at it too, like people who go pro would. I mean, bass fishing. There's people that's all they do, and they don't necessarily have to win the big tournaments all the time. They can golf. You take any of those things, they run around and place in the top. You place in the top 10 consistently, and you can do that for your job.
I mentioned to somebody when you remember I lived in Florida. I was in Panama City Beach, Panama City, Florida, for the longest time, and there are fresh fish markets, 2 or 3 of them down in that particular area, that people sell fish to every day.
Yeah.
They go out, or they'll go out fishing out there in the Gulf, and I'm not saying now at the pier. I'm talking out on a boat.
Yeah.
And they go out fishing, and they go out for like redfish, snapper, mackerel, whatever, and they come back. So let's say that red snapper was selling for $20-$25 a pound. All right, and they come in with a 10, 15, 20-pound snapper. Let's say they're out there in deep sea fishing. They come back with a 20-pound snapper. I mean,
that's
you go ahead and do the math. I mean, 20 pounds at $20. Let's just say 20 at $20 a pound.
There you go.
All right, you get that, and they're going to offer you probably half or a little less than half what it's worth per fish, so they can make their money on it. But if you
because if they weigh a whole, they got to subtract some of it for the guts and stuff that they ain't gonna use.
Right, but I mean, they're also subtracting so they can make a sizable profit on themselves, right? So, what, $400 right there?
Sure.
On a 20-pound fish, and they're going to offer you, say, 150, 175, maybe let's just say 150. Well, on that 20-pound snapper, and you caught 5 of them.
Yeah,
you caught 6 of them. I mean, you say
in a morning, not a day. A morning.
I mean, yeah, in the morning throughout the afternoon, from the early morning into the afternoon, and you come back in and you take your catch to the market.
Yeah,
and you sell. I mean, you might have come out with $1,000 to $1,200 a day.
Yeah. Oh, that's why a lot of people too have a lot of people that live that Gulf life, that coastal or Gulf life, or that kind of life. They'll go. You got a shrimp boat. Oh, we're going shrimping this. We're going shrimping while this season's open. Well, we're pulling off of our shrimp boat, and guess what? We're gonna go crabbing, and then we hop right back on here and go fish for tuna. And so I mean, actually a very good friend of mine. Boyfriend does that. He spearfishes, and super cool dude. Looks like Jason Momoa. It's pretty cool. But this dude makes a living doing just odd and end stuff. Like, oh well, this this is in season, or that's in season, or the sunfish are running, or whatever's going on. So you spend your entire like you said before. That's not. Can you imagine? That's not work.
It's what you like to do.
I got to go fishing today. God dang it!
Yeah. Tell me one fisherman that wakes up in the morning and says, "I can't do it again. I can't go today."
Yeah, right. Yeah, like, good Lord, I can't go.
There's not one. Today, man. Not one.
I'm just sick of fish.
I'm gonna throw one more question at you, and then we're gonna go and start wrapping it up. Okay?
Yeah. We're gonna end up going long on this movie here.
I know it's easy to do. That was a good movie.
It is.
The loyalty and the friendship that Mike has with Worm. When is enough?
Oh, dude.
I mean, it's like Worm takes advantage of the relationship over and over again.
He does,
and Mike just keeps showing loyalty to him. and
For
taking up
me, the
money.
$7,000 would have been right as soon as he got me in the whole $7,000 with Petra and that whatever establishment that was. But at the same time, I have to think about their situation too, where they're like, okay, in the real world, Mike's driving a truck and this and that. $7,000's a lot of money. Like that's a lot of money. Like I'm in the hole. I'm probably going to whip your ass, and we're not going to be friends anymore. But then at the same time,
and he gets mad at him. He finds where he's hiding out, the place he's always hid out at, right? All his
oh
life.
yeah, he does. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
And he gets mad at him. He tells him, you can't be doing this. You got me, messed up right along with you. And it's almost like he's had it at that point, but then that loyalty kicks back in again.
Well, and that's the thing too. They keep showing over and over too, though, that like to them, that's not that bad. You know what I mean? You can go on a week. You know what I mean? They had what 5? They had over 2 days, 5 days, 2 days to make $15,000.
Right, but see what I'm saying is though,
it was like 2 days. They're like, that's not that big a deal. We can do that. I've been on that kind of run before. Like it's like at the same time, it's not that much money to them in that world. $7,000, but that we can win that in one pot.
Well, like, where does the loyalty stop at some point though? Because I mean, he gets him messed up for $7,000.
Yeah,
he tries to go out and help him get it back. He's working for him to get him out of trouble as well as himself now because he's vouched for him.
right.
And he comes in, sneaks into the table anyway, and ends up ruining everything. They get their butts kicked and their money stolen.
Well, that was kind of when it was over right there.
Yeah,
that was when it stopped for Mike at that moment. Because he's like, we got to run. Because that was the moment that he found out that Teddy KGB was like who they actually owed the money to. Like, so he was collecting for Teddy, or Teddy backed the other guy.
Yeah, Teddy backed him.
So he was like, all right, dude, that's it. No, mine would have been over for me when he went and found him in the gymnasium.
Yeah. Yep.
Because that's when he was talking about, but even at that point, it was more than the $7,000. You know what I mean? He's like, this is getting serious, and that was when the real physical threats and things were very real. So yeah, for me, it would have been over there. I would have given him a few chances, and like I said, they're growing up together, this and that. They both played cards. They learned how to play together, this and that. So I mean, it was like his brother. He real soft spot for him, yeah.
Well, needless to say, great performances by Damon and Norton and Malkovich for sure. Would it be safe to say to you that this is a definitive poker movie? When you think of poker movies, is this like I don't want to say the end all be all, but is this the movie that you think represents poker the most to you?
This one, actually, it's like together. This one and Maverick come to mind. I don't think of Kenny Rogers.
Well, I mean, The Gambler is just based on that song, I mean, they had to make a movie for the song or something.
Right. But I think of this movie and I think of Maverick. But I think this one, if you were to honestly, no, I would have to put Maverick in front, but it's not because of the poker. It's because of the comedy. It's because of that movie. It's, it's got more elements, the Western and then the hilarity and this and that.
But we're not saying
like poker movie. Yeah, I can't think of another one.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not really basing it off the humor or the stars that are in it. But when you think of a poker movie, a movie solely based upon poker itself,
yeah, I'd say
that goes most in depth in any other movie. Does this one stand out to you as being probably the biggest one?
100%. How about you? I mean, I can't think of another one, honestly.
I mean, I do like Maverick better.
Right.
Myself. I'm not gonna lie, I do like Maverick better. But if I'm just going on just something that highlights poker itself and tells you the most about it and gives you the biggest idea of what it's like, I would have to say it's this movie for sure.
Yeah. I'm in agreement on that.
All right. Well, I guess that about wraps up our little dive into Rounders this week.
Yeah. I'm gonna get you before you get me. Ha ha. That wraps it up. But now we got to do the one thing that we didn't do yet. What was your favorite scene from the movie, Chris?
Oh, my favorite scene. My favorite scene. You know what? It's definitely, and I don't like to always to jump to the end of the movie or anything, but his retribution against Teddy KGB.
Yeah.
When he at the end when he's finally figured him out and he's taking him to the cleaners there. He could have got it and walked away. His debts were all paid for and everything. He was clear. He's in the clear. And you kind of have a Back to the Future moment, like a Marty McFly and
Yeah,
Biff
yeah,
moment where he's like, "What are you, chicken?" And he
yeah,
stops and he comes back and he puts the chips back down, and here we go again. And he ends up just taking him out at the end and getting all winning everything. And then
yeah.
that's when he knew himself that, you know what, I am good enough. I can sit at one of those tables, and he's gonna.
Well, yeah, that and see the reason. So this is something that we didn't bring up either. Is he told Kanish later too that the reason why he went at Teddy the first time with his entire savings was because he actually sat down in front of Johnny Chan, or no, he watched somebody else. No, he did. He sat down
He
in
did.
front of
That
Johnny.
was his
Yeah,
flashback.
yeah, his flashback. He sat down in front of Johnny, so he basically buffed Johnny Chan.
Yeah,
So he said he knew he could beat if he could beat Johnny Chan, he could beat anybody. So he beat Johnny Chan in one hand at just want the one hand. And then even Kanish was like, even when he told Kanish that story, even then Kanish was like, okay, I get it. You know what I mean?
yep.
I don't have to agree with you,
So
that's true.
that's your favorite as well.
Yeah, that's 100%, and I'm with you on that too. Is we usually don't jump to the end of the movies, but when we started the podcast tonight, it's one of the things that I said that for me, you got to have a good ending to a movie, but it's not. I think this stands out because the ending to it it's not like an M. Night Shyamalan, surprise, but the ending is such a big payoff. And like you said, such a retribution. And the ending is just so good. The scene is just so well acted and so good that the whole movie builds to that moment, and it's the proper payoff for the movie.
Yes,
And I feel like that is one of the key components. That's one of the major components that makes this movie so good, is that it ends so well.
it does. And I think, to go ahead and follow up on that real quick before we go, um, a sequel with him at the World Series of Poker, I think would have been well received.
For sure.
So, yeah, because people want to know, but at the same time, it's still the perfect ending and the perfect reason to not have a second one,
Right.
because it makes the ending of that one that much more better. Because now you're left wondering, did he do it?
Hmm.
You'll always be thinking about that movie. You'll always think and wonder, did he do it? And you don't get to pay out of seeing it happen, but that keeps Rounders, being great like it is. It's just like some of the other movies in the past that's had no sequels, where people have been like, I wish I could have had a sequel to that.
Yeah, but then it's almost like if you did get a sequel, it would kind of almost take away from the first one.
And it wouldn't have been as good, like Big Trouble
Yeah.
in Little China. Sequel to Big Trouble in Little China. Well, I know you could have made a sequel, but why? It
Yeah.
wouldn't have
Why?
been necessary.
Yeah.
So some movies just don't need a sequel. The Goonies, they're talking about making another Goonies movie. I think that's a cash grab, because
It
the
is because
Goonies
we
was
want
perfect
it.
like it was.
We want it. All of us Goonies never say die. We want it so bad, but at the same time, what are you going to do
It's
and why?
just not gonna be great,
It's gonna
probably.
be the Goonies kids, and then it's gonna be silly. It won't, you know what I mean?
Right.
The only time I've seen that work is the new Ghostbusters. That was good. I'm not gonna lie. I like the new Ghostbusters
A
with
little
the
bit.
kids. I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah. All right. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up. This is our little dive into Rounders this week. It's a film that, much like poker itself, is all about risk and reward and knowing when to push your luck. It may not have cleaned up at the box office in '98, but thanks to Matt Damon, Edward Norton, and John Malkovich's unforgettable Teddy KGB, as we've said, it found new life as a cult classic poker movie of a generation. Um, and like I said, what I love about Rounders, it's not just about the cards. You got loyalty, obsession, chasing that one
Mhm.
shot at greatness, like we all would think about for something we love to do. Whether, like you said, whether you're a golfer or whatever you are,
Yeah,
you want to take that one shot at greatness if you can. So whether you're a casual movie fan or someone who actually sat at the card table yourself, there's something universal about Mike McDermott's gamble for redemption.
for sure.
So, what do you think? Does Rounders deserve the crown as a definitive poker film? We discussed this earlier. Would you risk it all on one last hand like Mike did, or would you have folded and walked away? So, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Connect with us on social media, drop a comment where you're listening. And thanks for tuning in to Retro Life for You this week. If If you enjoyed the episode, make sure to follow, share, and leave a review so more retro movie fans can join the fun. So,
100%.
Travis, you're
Yeah.
always the joking man at the end of the episode. Do you have a poker? You have a poker joke or anything, or a gambling joke?
I do, but I have two things right before I do, though. You go look us up. We haven't moved yet. Go look us up on retrolifeforyou.com. Check us out there where you can listen to all the old. I think is it an entire catalog?
It's the entire catalog, yes.
The entire catalog you can listen to at your leisure. And then I forgot what I was going to say about this is one of the. So y'all know that we have a hard time bashing any movie, but we will tell you the truth about our recommendations on whether or not to rewatchability or whether or not you should catch it or if you want to waste an hour or whatever. This movie is worth, in my opinion, Chris. I feel like you'll probably say the same thing. This one's worth seeking out and taking a moment to watch. Look it up if you want to watch it for free. If you want to pay to rent it, either way, you will not be disappointed. This one's worth going and seeking out to watch.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. It's great.
Yeah, but and see, this is what Worm learned because worms are everywhere. Well, you know why poker players don't trust animals.
Why?
Because cheetahs never win.
I asked for
horrible dad joke ever.
I asked for it. I'm sorry, everybody. I asked for it. I put us in that situation. We'll see you guys next week. Have a great one.